Okay, so now I want to approach the topic of customer centricity. And this is a term that marketers use all the time, and it means different things to different people. And you'll see that as you go through and watch the videos. This will all be in a separate announcement and assignment to you. I'm going to have you watch these different videos and see how different people at different locations define and discuss the idea of customer centricity. So make sure that you watch these videos before you go through these 3 PowerPoint lectures on product centricity. So I'm going to give you a couple of typical examples of customer centricity, and my discussion of this is really based on a couple of different things. One is my buddy Pete Fader. You'll notice that one of the videos is from Pete Fader. Pete's a professor of marketing at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton Business School, I shouldn't say the Wharton Business School. It's the Wharton School. Pete's a great guy. I met him many years ago at a direct and interactive marketing conference. He and I sit on a couple of boards together. Pete wrote a book on customer centricity, and my daughter went to school at UPenn. So I stopped by one time when I was at UPenn, and I looked in the Union, and the book it's a thin paperback book, and it's $20. So I stopped past Peter's office and said, Pete, I need some books for my class, but $20 is a lot of money, and so Pete was scrambling around trying to find me 20 or 30 books, and I told him I was really just kidding. But he's that sort of a guy. He really is a really good guy, and he's got a really good point of view on the idea of customer centricity from a database marketing perspective. Second thing is the Nordstrom's tire story. You'll have a handout on the Nordstrom's tire story. I don't think that I'll do a video on it, but you want to read about the Nordstrom's tire story. It's a situation where someone returned a set of tires to Nordstrom's for a refund. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nordstrom's doesn't sell tires. Well, of course, that's when the story gets interesting. And I want you to read that story, and then we'll probably have a little short assignment associated with the Nordstrom's tire story. Next is my Isuzu Trooper story. And so this is a true story about me and an Isuzu Trooper that I still own. I bought the Isuzu Trooper, and there's a picture of it down in the corner, in 1998. And I was so sure that it was going to be a junker that I bought an extended warranty for it. So it had a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, but I added another longer warranty on it so that it was 6 years and 72,000 miles. And so the car was about 4.5 or 5 years old, and it started to act up. So I thought, oh man, I don't know what's wrong with this. So I drove it down to Courtesy Imports, which is no longer in existence, down at the Henderson Auto Mall where I had purchased the automobile. Now, when I purchased it, I paid cash for it, and I'd always had the product service. I'd always had my truck serviced there in terms of oil changes and all those sorts of things. So they didn't know me all that well at the service center because I didn't have that much ever go wrong with the vehicle. But I brought the vehicle in. I said to them, here's the problem, that the car is acting up. It's not shifting correctly. Here's what I think it is. And so the guy went in and wrote up the order and everything. And I said to him, oh, by the way, I've got the extended warranty on this. And he said to me, well, he said, when I looked your name up in the database, I noticed that you had bought the car here and that you had an extended warranty here. He said, I'm going to tell you something now, but I don't want you to get excited about it. I said, what's that? He said, well, we're not honoring that extended warranty. I said, what do you mean you're not honoring that extended warranty? I bought the warranty from you. He said, yeah, he said, but we're having a problem with the insurance company that actually um, owns that warranty, and so we're not honoring any of their extended warranties right now. He said, but before you get excited, he said, I want you to go in and he said, I'm gonna have you talk to the service manager. So of course, now my blood pressure is about 900, and so I go in and the service manager sees me right away. And I sit down and he pulls up my stuff on the screen and he sees that I bought the car from them, that I always had it serviced from them. I bought the extended warranty from them, and that I was one of their good customers. So listen, this is a temporary issue with the insurance company. He said, this is going to blow over in a week or so. But right now we're not honoring that service warranty. He said, so here's what I want you to do. He said, what I want you to do is leave the car with us. We'll fix it. And then after we fix it, he said, we'll leave the ticket open on it until we resolve this, and then we'll send it through after we've resolved this. He said, and you know what? He said, we'll actually just waive the copay on this so that it won't cost you anything. I said, okay. But the outside guy said that I needed to call the insurance company. He said, well, go ahead and call the insurance company and then sort of see what they have to say. He said, but we'll fix it. We'll leave an open ticket on it. We know what's wrong with it. It said it won't take very long for us to fix. He said, you can come by and pick the car up later today. So then I called the insurance company, the company that actually owned the extended warranty. And I got this guy at the insurance company, and he said, listen, he said, we love the fact that you bought the extended warranty from us. We want to keep you as a customer. We are in a disagreement with the people at Courtesy Import. He said, you take that vehicle of yours and take it to any other dealership in the country. He said, I don't care if you take it to California, Salt Lake City, Phoenix, or anywhere else in Las Vegas. He said, you can take it to the Rolls-Royce dealer in Las Vegas. He said, let them fix it and we'll pay for it, no deductible. Do anything at all, but do not have that thing serviced at Courtesy Imports. So I got off the phone from them, and the service manager said, well, what did they say? And I said, well, they said, don't have it serviced here. He said, well, he said, so you're going to have to decide what you're going to do with this. And I said to him, yeah, well, I said, I understand the issue. But the reason that the Isuzu dealership was willing to be nice to me and, in fact, wanted to do the service on my car was mostly because they wanted to keep me as a customer, because they had identified me as a valuable customer that had always had my product service there. So I was someone who was valuable to the Isuzu dealership. The Pareto principle applied to customers is the notion that 20% of your customers will typically account for 90% or 80% of your sales and profits. So the idea behind the Pareto principle is that a handful of your best customers make up a large percentage of your profitable business. So there's that sort of a notion. So there's sort of my lead-in stories for the idea of customer centricity. Now, in his book, Pete talks about the distinction between product centricity and customer centricity. And refers to product centricity as the old marketing, but I would really refer to it as the traditional marketing approach. Product centricity is all about building the brand. Product centricity is an organization that is focused on the products it brings to market. It's sort of a traditional approach to do business, right? Produce great products and great brands, and customers will buy your product over and over again. And lots of companies use this philosophy. They focus on building their brand. They do something called building brand equity. It looks at developing new products by leveraging the technology and the specialized skills that exist in the company. So think about, staying in the automobile segment, think about someone like Honda. Honda's got very good brand value, and the people at Honda focus on producing high quality, high value cars for the price by leveraging their knowledge and technology and specialized skills in the automobile building business. It starts by looking internally at its capabilities and rather than externally at what needs are not being met. You invest to have the best product possible and the most advanced features in the industry. Success is measured by the portfolio of products you sell and your market share and profit margins. Most companies operate this way. Product-centric companies define themselves by their products. For example, Kodak originally defined itself as being in the photo processing business. Of course, the problem was that when the photo processing vanished with digital, so did most of their business. As you know now, Kodak is trying to reinvent itself as a generic drug producer. Sort of an interesting extension of the photo processing business. So let me ask you a question. Do you think Cadillac is defined by its products or its customers? And the answer, of course, is Cadillac is a product-focused company that looks at its products and tries to build its Cadillac brand by producing unique luxury performance products. So in a product-centric firm, the strategic advantage is based on the product and the product expertise behind those products. Think about Porter's competitive advantage. This is really all about that idea of expertise and valuable products. So there are 4 issues that make product centricity less viable today than in the past. One are all of the technological advances that are out there. The second, of course, is the globalization of markets. So there are virtually no geographic advantages anymore. Another is the deregulation in many industries, and the final is the rising power of consumers due to having more information, so that customers can find out how good your product really is. An example is, of course, someone like Tesla, who makes a fine car, and I've driven them and I love driving them, but it has one of the lowest J.D. Power satisfaction and quality scores of all of the luxury cars. So then we talk about product customer centricity. And of course, you've watched the video, so you've seen a number of different explanations for what customer centricity is all about. But Pete very distinctly defines customer centricity as a strategy that aligns a company's development and delivery of its goods and services with the current and future needs of a select set of customers in order to maximize their long-term financial value to the firm. Customer centricity is a fundamental acknowledgement that not all customers are created equal. And it's a commitment to identify those customers who matter the most and includes a willingness to dedicate a disproportionate amount of your resources not only to understand what those customers want, but to deliver what they want and to keep them as long-term loyal customers. So the notion of customer centricity from Pete's standpoint is this notion that not all customers are created equal. Some are more valuable than others, and a company should focus on those most valuable customers. So being customer centric is often confused with being customer focused or customer centered. Being customer focused means consistently offering high quality customer service and products. It's an overarching principle that urges that organizations treat all their customers right. Being customer-centric does not mean that. Customer centricity and being customer-centric means looking at a customer's value to the firm and focusing on those customers that provide the highest value to the firm and committing a disproportionate amount of resources to those people. All customers are not the same. Some are more valuable to your organization, and as a result, some are worthy of more efforts than others. Customer centricity changes everything about a company. No longer is it that the customer is king and the customer is always right. The customer might always still be right, but some customers are more right than others. The 4 tenets of customer centricity. By recognizing the differences between customers, you gain a competitive advantage. Each customer is worth more or less than every other customer, and we need to focus on our most valuable customers. By quantifying the value of each customer, you can gain insight that will make your organization more effective and more efficient. By applying good CRM initiatives towards the most valuable customers, you can increase the organization's long-term profits. By keeping those people as customers longer, by gaining a greater share of their wallet, and by getting them to refer others.